Welcome to the OFWpreneurs Podcast. This is your host, JP Adena, and the title is Overseas Filipino Entrepreneurs with Big Ideas. The guest for today is Anna Del Prado. Say hi.
Hi! Thank you so much for having me.
Yan. Si Anna ay isang baker. Okay? But she is also a performer sa Hong Kong. But before I introduce her, let me introduce Anna. No, let me introduce again. So let Anna introduce herself. There you go. Who is Anna Del Prado? If you wanna talk to the audience in a third person.
As a third person.
Yeah. Anna Del Prado is.
Okay. Well, Anna currently works as a vocalist right now.
Mhm.
And during her free time, she likes to spend it baking cookies, baking cakes, and then selling.
Mm. Let me go deeper.
Mhm.
Si Anna, nung nasa Pilipinas, bukod sa pagiging performer, paano siya lumaki? Ganon. Parents, laki sa hirap, laki sa yaman, solo anak. Do you have, can you share those intimate details in your life?
Yeah. Well, I'm from a province called Dumaguete City.
Mm.
My family's from there. And then my parents, I am the fifth of 5 children. Bunso.
Bunso
I have
talaga.
3 older brothers, an ate, then me. And
Mm.
then at the age of 12, my parents told me to move to Manila. So I moved to Manila, studied there. I actually took up culinary arts for
Talaga?
that's my degree in college.
Mm.
Because at the time it was a course that had like you get a sure job.
Mm.
And at the time I was leaning into theater, but I didn't have any experience. I never really got into like musicals or the clubs that had
Mm.
like the theater clubs or the choral group.
Mm.
So that just made me like, okay, maybe I should take up culinary. And so I did. But I never really saw myself being a chef forever. There was this something in me that's like, I just want to sing. I just want to sing and I want to dance. And watching musicals just on TV made me so happy. So I decided that I think this is something I at least want to try before I get too old, or
Mm.
this is something I want to try. And then my dad told me that just do something that you will not regret the most.
That's a very good advice.
Hmm?
Uh,
So
I was actually wondering na when you said baking yung parang way to get a stable job, I would assume na it's forced. I'm not dissing on your parents, but usually the parents are trying to push the courses sa mga anak nila, right? So I would assume, akala ko na pinush sa'yo yung baking and then you want to do theater, but they don't want you to do that. But then I heard that you
yes,
said yung parents mo pala yung nag-encourage sa'yo na do something that you wouldn't regret, right?
yeah.
Because alam mo, mayroon akong nabasang or nakitang kwento sa YouTube na sinasabi niya, mostly, if you talk to elders, may mga lolo-lola, right? And if you ask them their regret, usually the answer is something they didn't do. It isn't something that they did that they regret. It's something
Yeah.
that they didn't do. So that's a very wise advice ng parents mo. And I would think that it's his pain, right? So kasi malamang yung lolo mo pinorse siya sa kung ano yung ginagawa niya sa ngayon, but then and then he doesn't want to do it to you, right? So that's his advice to you. So
Yeah,
meaning
and
you have all the support. That's what I'm saying.
yes, and I know he opened up to me that my dad opened up to me that he wanted to be a theater actor, but he was always too shy. And then it's always something my whole family was amazed at, but no one really is a performer. And so
So you're
I
the
just
first.
uh-huh. Um, most of my family members are artists, like painters, animators, photographers. Um, my other brother is a chef, and so my original plan in life was to like follow his footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, um, seeing that I had no theater background then, like, it was the wisest thing to do. But then when when I opened up to my parents that I actually want to pursue performing,
Mm-hmm.
because and then I realized every time I said to myself, also people were like, you should take dance lessons, you should take singing lessons. Every time I said to myself, I'm too old.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm I'm supposed to take it when I'm like a kid, and then so that the
Yeah, yeah.
body gets stretched.
Mm-hmm.
And I always told myself I'm too old for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed every single year I said that I'm too old for that. I'm too old for that. But and then I noticed every single year I get older. So I realized, why not start now?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the earliest possible time. Now is the earliest possible time. And then again, it's like never too late. So
Yeah.
I started lessons. So when my parents supported me, when they said like, yeah, do something that you wouldn't regret. So I took the route of theater, and I said, okay, let me just take 1 year, and um, and I did lots of workshops. I did dance lessons, voice lessons, and I remember my first dance lesson. I was like 22 years
Mm-hmm.
old, and then all of my classmates were like 9 or 10 years old. Like they're literally half my size. And then I remember going inside the dance studio, and then the little girls, they were like, "Oh, are you our teacher?" And then I said, "No, I'm your classmate."
Classmate.
And then so at that point, I just felt like, I'm not ashamed, because at one point, every single amazing people I see on stage didn't know, or they at one point they were me. At
Mm.
one point they didn't know.
They
So
started
it's
with
like, okay,
zero
so
as well.
yeah, so this is my zero. Even if it's 22 years old, like it's kind of late
Mm-hmm.
considering like to be a dancer. Or so I just went for it, and I didn't stop.
I started dancing when I was 19.
No
Like
way.
like like classes, yeah. So
Oh,
don't worry about that zero.
so it's possible.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's there's
I think we
you're
all
never
have
too
a
old.
different timeline.
Yeah.
Mm.
And yung comparison sa iba kasi it's very dangerous. I mean, compare something for me, and this is what I tell my child. Kasi sabi niya, "Oh, sabi mo sa akin, Daddy, wag mag-compare." And then you compare. So, do I compare or do I not compare? Right? So, sometimes
Mm.
but
Mm.
it's opposite sides. Eh. So, it depends upon the situation. For me, you compare your bad thing to an even bad or even worse scenario. So you'd be thankful, right? But if it's good, right, compare yourself, right, to the good, because you'd be like, wow, I'm good pala. So if it's bad, compare to the worst thing, something like that. So for you to be thankful for, no?
Or
So
compare yourself to your past.
yes, compare
Compare
yourself to
yourself to
you.
yourself. Yes.
Yes, and the mostly isa lang ang kwento, hindi mostly, isa lang ang kwento na sinasabi ko sa kanya na all the lessons in life nandun na, which is the hare and the tortoise, right? I told her na, do you know why the tortoise win? Kasi he said, well, because the hare fell asleep. I said, nope. The tortoise won because he is competing with himself.
Mm-mm.
The hare is competing with the tortoise, but the tortoise is competing with himself. He doesn't care if the hare sleeps or not. He doesn't care. What he wants to do is to finish the race. So I think kung nauna man yung hare nun, because fast nga siya, di ba? He would still finish it even if it's a far second or as the last person, right? Because he knows that he will improve sa kanyang craft if he started. Nox. That's the worst part. And then that's the worst part. Yung pinakapagpapawisan ng kilikili mo is to start. So I'm curious, when your dad told you na go to something that you wouldn't regret, did you start right away?
Um, of course, it's very hard to start from zero because it can go any direction.
Yeah.
And where do you start?
Mm.
So it was more like, oh, I know a tito who loves musicals. You can ask him. And then I just asked him, and the tito happened to know like
Someone else.
previous
Yeah.
previous actress, and the actress recommended. So like he brought me to that actress, and she was like, "You take voice lessons, you take workshops, so that you'll know how it feels like. If you like it, then you know." Then yeah, so it was like I always like taking advice from anyone like much older than me. So I would
Not
just take
necessarily
I just
older,
take
but
all
more
the advice.
experience, right?
Yeah, I would say yeah, or anyone actually.
This is actually the purpose of this OFWpreneurs podcast, Anna. The purpose of the OFWpreneurs podcast is to inspire other OFWs or aspiring OFWs or aspiring OFWs that want to be an entrepreneur. Right? Why? Because ang pain point ng mga OFW is to go home. To go home for good. And the fastest way to come home for good, nang hindi ka nagmamadali, for me, and that's the message that I want to give out, is to actually start a business.
Yep.
And I'm basing this from experience from other people. Because mostly, ang mga umuwi sa Pilipinas na mga OFWs ay nag-business sila. Hindi yung nothing else. Maybe mayroong mga outliers na nanalo sa loto, mga ganon, yung mga far-fetched reasons kung bakit sila ano. But sila yung may dahilan ng pag-uwi nila and for good, it is usually entrepreneurs. And if you think of a successful person right now, like one click, book, who's the successful person that you think of? He's selling something. He's an entrepreneur. She is an entrepreneur. Anyone that you think is successful right now, right? But I'm not associating this with money. What I'm saying is, being an entrepreneur is actually selling, right? Selling, risk, and then you sell anything, right? And in this case, with performing arts, you're selling yourself. You're selling Anna Del Prado, right? So basically, you are already an entrepreneur, baking aside, right? Now, if you're an entrepreneur and you're selling yourself, right? Why you have to first hone your craft, meaning have the best product, right? Have the best product na alam niyo ipupush mo sa mga tao, look, oh, this is the best product I have. And it so happened to be me. Right? And that's the purpose of the resume and also the auditions. You get to smile first. Yes. Like your smile is the biggest smile in the room. Even if you're not dancing yet, you're smiling. You're not singing yet, you're smiling. Right? So, yung mga tips na nakuha mo sa mga more experienced theater people or musical people. Right? So, is there someone or like an influential person, maybe a book, I don't know, a YouTube channel personality that actually gave you or opened the door for you?
Honestly, it's a movie.
That's good. That's good.
Not to sound babaw. But honestly,
but that's the truth, right? It's if it's not true, if that's you, right?
Yeah.
That's your experience.
Honestly, it's a movie. Like, as kids, you watch so many things, and then there was this movie. It's called Hairspray the Musical. Actually, it's a musical on Broadway, but then the movie came out, and then I loved it so much because it had everything I love. Like, had everything I like: dancing at the same time, singing, and then bursting with colors and happy people, and then with a message across. It's like I want to be part of that. That's what I felt. So like this was like years before I took formal dance lessons. I even got the Hairspray DVD dance along. There's a choreographer.
Ganun ka obsessed, right? Ganun ka, you're into it.
I'm in my school uniform, just following TV. And that's where it started. That's where I got the idea. I mean, of course, when I was a kid, like, you know how you're forced to sing some songs like in a school production, like in a choir, like it was like a group. Like in my grade school was like that. They always made
Sound of Music.
No, like it was more
Me,
like
I did Captain Von Trapp.
Oh,
before.
Nice.
I had to sing Edelweiss.
Oh, nice. Like, well, it wasn't as grand as Sound of Music. It was just like We had
No,
to dress up like as
low budget
flowers.
play yun na. Low budget
And
play.
then same here in grade school. It was one of those things that everyone was like kind of we had to do. We had to all be part of. Like everyone has to be a certain flower, and all the flowers have to move. So like I guess that's my experience. And then high school, I believed I could continue doing that, but every time I auditioned for like a musical club or theater club or like a choral group, I never got in. So that's what made me realize, okay, maybe it's not for me. But it sparked again when I saw that movie. So I was like, I think I want to keep on doing this. I want to keep looking at it, watching it, and then eventually,
It's a second push aside from your dad, something like that, right?
eventually it was something that I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be part of.
Okay, I know maybe there's a question that you was asked of you already, but when did you realize that you've made it? Like, this is it. I'm a theater actor. I'm a musical personality. I did it.
I
Is there
don't.
something like that?
I haven't had that moment yet.
Okay, so
Like,
we're still in the trenches.
yeah, I haven't had that moment. I mean, like, in Manila, of course, you're doing so many odd jobs just to pay the bills. And I would perform in children's parties, and I would be part of a musical. I haven't had a lead role yet, and so like I just feel like when I get a lead role, that's
it.
when.
So what's
I'll
the dream?
say.
What's the dream role? Aside maybe for maybe I assume Hairspray.
Yeah, I'd love to be.
Like the
Honestly,
dream, like the North
honestly,
Star.
be a lead in a musical. And the fact that it's
Any lead, any particular lead specific.
Because I don't want to say Miss Saigon because that's what we're typecasted into. But if that's the case, sure. But if now they're opening up, I know, right? But that's why I want to be open to anything. Like,
any lead role in a musical. That's it.
Yeah, with acting, singing, and dancing. I think that's the dream.
And of course, I assume you audition, right? You audition to those.
Yes. Okay. I have.
Because some people they say, this is my dream, but they're not doing anything, right? Right. For me, in my experience, ako nag-audition ako sa Disneyland. It's my dream to work in Disneyland. Like, nung nalaman ko, magkakaano Hong Kong Disneyland talaga? And then nalaman ko yung, may audition talaga? Oops, I have to be there. Kasi I'm a Disney baby. Yes. Kabisado ko yung buong soundtrack na Lion King. Meron akong soundtrack ng, as in tape. Tape, Lion King. Hindi, yung tape. CD. Ay, CD. Cassette tape. Tas lahat ng lyrics nanduron. Lahat ng lyrics nanduron. So, binabasa ko talaga, alam ko talaga yung lyrics ng Lion King. Ang favorite ko is Be Prepared. So nang magkakano ako this dance, I have to be there. I have to audition to this. And I auditioned 5 times. I got on the 5th time. I always go to the finale. But on the 5th time, I auditioned. So for me, I think, I'm not saying hindi mahal ng ibang tao because first time na audition, but for me, because I auditioned 5 times, I felt I'm so attached to it na I have to be the best parade dancer. Alam mo yun? Kasi the 5th time, so kailangan kong patunayan na I deserve this. On the 5th time na nag-audition ako, natawagan ako. So I think, so when you ask me, so when I introduce myself sa mga meetings sa Disney, so I'm JP Adena and I'm the best parade dancer here. I always start with that and they burst out laughing. But then after they would call me and they would say, you know what you said that you're the best parade dancer. You said to yourself, may bangko mo. But then after you said it and everybody laughs, I would nod my head. I'm like, yeah, I think you are. Something like that. So I pride myself into thinking that I'm the best parade dancer. Maybe because I auditioned 5 times.
Yeah.
for 2 years and 7 months. Diba? Alam ko pa kung ilang buwan sa kataon. So, I'm encouraging you to just audition, right?
Yeah.
Audition since you're still in the trenches.
Hong Kong Disneyland was my dream as well, and I auditioned for it 5 times as well.
Right? Wow.
Three times as a vocalist, 2 times as a dancer.
Wow.
Yeah, the
And you got
dancer,
and of course, the 5th time.
vocalist. The 2 dancing ones, I only reached the first level. Then that's when I realized, okay, I'm not a dancer. And then
I'm a singer who can move.
That's what I call myself. In musicals, they need that.
Yes.
Not very many vocalists like can move. So if you can move, if you can look like you dance, you're okay.
So I want to give more value to the audience right now. So if they are the ones right now that need a dad that would support them, that needs an open door for opportunity, where would they get it? So any advice sa mga nakikinig ngayon na gusto maging performer, maging theater actor? What would be your advice? Technically, yung ina-advise mo yung sarili mo ng bata ka. Give that advice to them.
Like, where can they get that?
Any
dad
resources,
figure? Your friends. Your friends, your support system. Your support system can be anyone from your peers or your non-peers or your friends or your relatives or your friends that became your family. Or it can even be the idols that you follow. You can check them out on YouTube. Yeah. Like with the internet now, you can check anything. And so many inspirational videos are out there.
You can they can be your inspiration, right? And their push to move.
Yeah,
right? And then yung movie, para sa akin, akala ko sabihin mo yung movie kasi napakaraming movie ngayon na usually it's true to life story, right? Yung mga ginagawa ng is and for me every after a true to life story movie, lagi kong check kung true to life nga talaga. Second, kung ano nangyayari na ngayon, yung ganon. So even the Sound of Music, I check that out. Kung totoo pala siya, yung mga ganon, diba? So you would know their experiences through those movies. So those lalo na ngayon may mga YouTube channels, 'di ba? Sinasabi talaga nila yung mga experiences nila. Then you learn from that. Have them as your inspiration, right? And now yung mga challenges sa performing, bukod sa mga auditions na paulit-ulit mong ginagawa, sa mga auditions na or sa mga plays na hindi mo na nakukuha. Iniyakan mo na ba? Yung mga
of course. Siyempre.
Is there any
of course.
any particular role? You don't have to go on specifics na. What did you do after? Parang, I get that. I did my best. Okay.
Yeah, I did my best, or like I completely made a mistake in front of important people. Like that was embarrassing. Of course I cried. Of course I questioned, like, is this something I should keep doing? Why am I doing this to myself? And
you self-doubt talaga, yung why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah, I don't have to put myself through this. But I always talk with my family. They're my support system, and like my parents they never really force me to do anything. They're always like, whatever makes you happy, as long as this, like, and my family, my brothers and my sister, like they would always say, it's okay to keep failing as long as you try, and as long as you do it for yourself.
Yeah. As long as the dream is yours, right? Hindi yung dream na finorce sa'yo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yung mga bagay na ganyan, yung something you wish you'd knew, right? So, yung mga self-doubt na sinabi mo kanina na, ba't ko ba nilalagay yung sarili ko sa mga sitwasyon na ganito na hindi naman natutupad, mga ganon, di ba? But then, on the second time na you audition, sabi mo, wow, ganun pala yun. Right? Sana nalaman ko nung umpisa pa lang. Is there
Yeah.
is there an aha moment that you can share sa audience natin? Like, I see. Let me give you an example. Kung nag-audition ako sa isang musical din, they need dancers who can sing and singers who can dance. Of course, I auditioned for both, and then I got in. The only reason why I got in, the reason why I'm telling you this story, because it's Hairspray. At ang sinabi sa akin ng mga kasama ko, know this song. Because more often than not, they use this. They use the songs from Hairspray kasi ang ganda nga eh. So, inalam ko siya, din practice ako ng practice, ganyan-ganyan. And then, nung part na singing part na, for whatever reason, I don't know, yun yung kanta. So, I was like, I got this. Right? And then, after, dance ulit. Nung nag-dance ulit, so of course, I hit the dance part. And then I got in. I'm like, wow, I can define myself na as a singer a dancer who can sing. Parang gano'n. Dati, I wouldn't tell myself that eh. But nung nakapasok ako sa audition na gano'n, ayun, nag-aantay ka lang ng tawag, yung gano'n. So, nag-briefing na. So, I was like, okay, I'm a dancer who can sing. Mga gano'n. But one thing I wished I knew before, kasi hindi naman ako pumasa before, is to have something prepared. Right? Yung, even though hindi mo alam yon, right? Even though may chance na hindi yun yung kantang gamitin, but at least have something prepared, right? If you have time, prepare for 5 usual songs or mga common songs na sa auditions, and ask other people, right? Na, what are the common songs that you usually ask for people to sing? Ganyan, right? So then you have it already. Right?
Yeah.
Is there something like that you can share to that?
Like to always be prepared. Like actually,
in anything, like an aha moment, something I wished I knew when I started. Mag-alam mo na siya ngayon. But before, hindi.
I wish I knew everything.
You wish you knew all the lyrics, right? For me,
but like,
go ahead.
Like every time I auditioned for Hong Kong Disneyland, the feelings, like the first one, I'm like, I always say, I wish I got it. Like, what's wrong with me? And then in the second audition, I realized why the first one didn't work. And the more I audition, I realized why the past auditions didn't work.
If you don't mind me asking why. If you don't mind me asking,
why?
What was that why?
It was, I just like you, just like what you mentioned about preparation. Like I wasn't prepared. Like I could have asked people who have already gone to audition and asked them, or like I could have. It's researchable. Like what song?
Yes, that's.
Do you have to know? Like, of course they're gonna give you on the spot, but it's best if you like keep playing it. So the first audition, I had no knowledge of the song. So of course I learned it on the spot, but I still made it to the end. In the second audition, it was the same song. So it's like, since I have knowledge of the song already, like I kind of have that backed up. So, but if it wasn't for doing the first audition, I wouldn't be as confident in the second audition, which will also bring me more confidence for the third, and the fourth, and the fifth. So like, I'm thankful for all the failures.
Yeah.
For all, because
you would even say you needed that, right? You needed those failures for that.
Yeah, because I think it's only in those times of darkness where you see the light. I mean, not to be so generic and cheesy, but like it's only in those times of like, when you're down, that's when you can really see things really clear.
Yeah, and sometimes if that happens to you more often, yung lagi sa'yo nangyayari yun, it becomes clearer and clearer, right? Na you already have the foundation. Na kapag mangyari ulit yun, it's already clear to you. Okay, this is just a step. This is a step backwards for another step forward, right? 2 steps back, 1 step forward, right? But as long as there's a step forward.
And as long as it's baby steps. As long
Yeah.
as it's any step forward,
Don't
it's
go far
okay.
ahead.
Like
Yep.
one day at a time. One day at a time.
Oh, na-intriga ako doon sa sinabi mo na I still got into the end even though you're not prepared, right? I wanna dwell on that. I wanna stay on that part because have you heard a saying na hard work beats talent if the talent is not enough, right? Because so many people are talented, but they know they are, so they don't work
Yes.
hard enough. And there's some people naman they don't have the talent, not much talent, but they work hard more. And there are, of course, outliers that are talented, yet they are the first person there and the last person left behind on
Yep.
hard work. Those people are superstars.
Do you remember? So I mentioned that I had a tito who knew an actress who knew. So in that trail, like I would talk to them, and then the one who recommended workshops to me, she was like, "But you gotta know." And I had my notebook there in front of her, and she was like, "But you gotta know, doing this is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration." I was like, "Why?" And then she's like, "Because
So it's
it's a
like a
lot of
foreign
hard
concept for
work."
you. Like what she said, that person said, is that a foreign
Mm-mm.
concept to you? Na parang, huh?
Well, because I was trained in the culinary world, where you start as a dishwasher and then you lead your way up.
Sous chef to chef.
So I understood that concept. Like I understood like having a director or chef tell you what to do and you just have to do it right. Even if it's the littlest job, even if it's you wash the dishes, then you be the best dishwasher.
Yeah.
And then just keep doing that best dishwashing and you can like move on to cutting the vegetables. So like that's my background. So I was like, okay, then I can actually translate this into theater or performing. Just keep doing the small roles, like even if it's just like a silly role. And then the more I kept doing theater back in Manila, that's when I realized and that's when I saw like, oh my god, she's talented, but she's always late. So it and people didn't even see that. Like they didn't even like count her or consider her efforts because like she doesn't even put, even though she's one of the best singers. But then here's this person um, who's just willing to always like he's never late. He's never late and he's always there. But then like he's not like the best, but like since he's always there, he's always chosen to like do the stuff. So like I would watch these people
You learn
and
from them.
and I like to observe people I look up to, like at work doing their own thing. And then I just like kind of mentally take down notes like, okay, like I shouldn't do that. I should do that. I should. I think also it like growing up with 5 siblings, being the bunso. It was more like, okay, so that makes my mom mad. I won't do that. Like, okay, that makes my dad happy. I'll do that. Like, I think I see them do it, so I'm
So you
observing.
had training.
Okay,
You had training with that, huh?
yeah.
Taking
So
notes, taking
you
mental
can,
notes.
yeah.
Ang galing mo dun.
And so it's just more like, okay, I want to be that person. So I want to do what she did. I want that impression too. So it's those people that inspired me to like. So that gave me hope. I'm like, I don't have to be so good, just as long as I show up, and just as long as I'm
Galing,
not
no?
late, just as long as, and then these are things I realized I can do. I can show up early, but I don't have to like reach the highest note. And then in one of the theater productions I was doing, the director kept saying, "There are no small roles, only small actors." So that translated to like, even if you're a dishwasher, you be the best damn dishwasher there is.
Yeah.
And she'll be known. She's good at washing the dishes. And you take pride in that, no matter how small, your stage is, your station is. And then just the other day, like someone's telling me about how the best kind of performers are those that perform the same quality no matter what the stage is. No matter if you're performing on the side of the street to two audiences, or performing to like an audience on Broadway in New York, like they will still do the same quality
If you take a video of
because
that performance, it's the same.
it's actually about you, the way you perform here and perform here. If you choose to perform better here because there's more people, what does that say about you when you perform on the streets to like only 2 people? Like, I just think, that shows your character and shows the kind of work ethic and the reason why you do things. So, do you do things because someone's watching? Do you mop the kitchen floor just because the chef is watching, or because you care that it's actually dirty and it needs cleaning?
Yeah, it's for safety also. My
Yeah,
translation
also think.
with that is, yung version ko niyan is, whenever I perform, every child there is my daughter and my son. That's it. Right? So, okay.
You know, in my case, when I perform, I'm the most nervous to like, if it's people I know, if it's my family, like, I can't, like, if it's my family or my mom or my dad, like, I'm very nervous. But if it's like 1,000 strangers, sure,
I'm good.
Yeah. So like, maybe I don't know yet how it feels to be like a mom or a parent. But in during rehearsals for this musical, like, they always just said, perform like you are performing for the Lola, the grandma at the back.
She
So
has to hear
this
you.
grandma, she has to hear you. She has to see you. So make your actions really big, and make your pronunciation very strong, so she can hear you. So there.
My version of that is Araneta Coliseum, because I'm a cheerleader. I'm a USD Salingawi dance troupe cheerleader. And we have to first our focus. Sometimes pag nagpa-perform ka, nakayuko ka, right? Ako, ganun yung sakit ko before. But then, because it's Araneta Coliseum, we have to actually go a little bit higher than the usual. We have to go to yung pinakataas, yung 20 pesos na lang. Yung 20 pesos na entrance. We have to perform for those guys. Kasi dun nilalagay yung mga drummers eh. Dun nilalagay yun. So isibihin, we're nakaka-connect kami sa drummers sa pinakataas. And we're cheering with you. Even if you're there, I have to hear your drums and you have to hear my cheer, something like that. So it's a very relatable experience, mga sinasabi mo sa akin.
So I try not to think of my family. I just think of yung lola sa likod.
Pero kasi nangyayari, nahihiya ka sa family. Sa akin, hindi. Pag nandiyan yung mama ko, parang, this will be the best performance ever. Something like that. Baga hindi ako nahihiya. I don't know why. Kasi maybe because the family, lahat kami professionals. Sabi ko lahat kami. I'm the only dancer. I'm the only performer. Yet, lahat sila doktor, engineer, blah, blah, whatever. So, in their perspective, ako yung hindi professional. But I always say, we are all professionals. Right? So, ang dating kasi is, hindi supported yung arts. Ako yung hindi unang-una. Kasi ako lang eh. Naisip ko talaga eh. Ako lang talaga. Ako lang napunta sa arts. Ako lang napunta sa performing. So, ang nangyari, it's just me looking back. It's like a craving na they have to watch me. I have to force them to watch me. And if they watch, I have to perform na, di ba? So, vice versa. Kapag lagi ka namang supported, lahat ng mga kamag-anak mo gusto manood sa'yo, then you would think, ayoko sila manood kasi that's too much na, di ba? So, kabaliktaran naman yung sa akin side. Kasi I'm craving for that. So, when they do, I'd be the best performer.
That's nice.
Wala ka nang ibang makikitang performer. Ako na lang. When I perform, when my daughter's there, I always give something to her that she would know that I'm watching you watching me. And ang gusto ko naman sa kanya is, whenever she watches me, it's like the first time she's seeing that performance, even though she watched that 10 times.
Yes.
So that's what I appreciate na, even though ilang beses mo na nakita sa akin to, ganun ka pa rin mag-react.
Make it fresh all the time.
So it means I make it fresh, but in her eyes, it's always fresh still. So parang kung mayroong good audience,
I think every performer should think that way.
Yes. Galing, di ba?
I think I'm conscious with my family. because I care what they think. I want them to like say she's
to give the best feedback, and you would be
yeah.
hurt if it's a
I
bad
think because
feedback.
if a stranger said something negative or positive,
You
it
don't care.
wouldn't really have an impact. But maybe because it's my family, and the reason why I'm so conscious of it is because I care about what they think. I care about what they say, and I want them to say good things.
Yeah. And what the you have the control for that, right? You have the
Yeah,
control
as
for whatever
easy
output
as it sounds.
yeah,
Yes.
for whatever output you'd give to the
Mm.
audience, right? Yung ang nangyari very very performance episode ang nangyari dito, which I like kasi pareho tayong performer. No, yung ang nangyari sa mga pagka nakakahalubilo ako ng ibang tao, yung world class, di ba nasa Pilipinas ka, hindi pagpunta mo sa ibang bansa, parang, nakita mo, wow, ang daming magagaling pala. Tapos punta sa iba, ang daming mga, my world opened up.
Yes.
Ganon. Is there a feeling of like that on your side na, but the first time ko nag-audition sa Glee Club sa school namin, hindi ako pumasa. But why would I audition for the Miss Saigon? Diba? So what is that? What is it in you? Because of preparation and everything, na you'd still audition. Right? I think what I'm saying is, yung ibang tao na nag-audition ng first time, sabi nila, hindi sila pumasa. Hindi mo say, ayoko na. It hurts my pride. But what made you go to the second?
I like to keep trying and trying until I get it. And I believe that
You're that stubborn. Parang ganun,
yeah,
no?
I'm stubborn in that way. And then I start talking to people about their experiences, and I realized no one gets it in the first try. And that's what everyone says. No one gets it in the first try. I mean, it's just like passing an exam in school.
Unless
Like,
they do. Because some people they really got it in the first try.
yes.
Ganun talaga eh, diba?
Honestly, that's not me. Like in school, like I always had to keep trying. So I think I had that. I know that there were some things that I wasn't like happy about the first one. So at least there's a second. At least there's another chance that I can prove myself.
Okay, medyo medyo malalim tayo ngayon eh. Medyo dumidip tayo. So let me ask a question na sideways. Do you read?
Do I read?
Do you read?
Yes, occasionally. Mm-hmm.
Occasionally. Facts tuloy. Fiction or mga for fun? For improvement?
I started reading when I was like 23 only. I didn't like books before. And then I just suddenly found solace in them, and I liked the journey. I started with fiction. Like I just picked up a book just because the cover was beautiful. Well, I did judge a book by its
colorful
cover.
Book.
Yeah, it was colorful. It was like my favorite place in Italy. Like, oh, I love this place. I don't even know what it's about. I'm gonna buy it. And then it just happened to be about, I was 23 at that time. So it happened to be about a 23-year-old actress named Anna in Italy. I was like, so all the more I was interested. And then as I got to finish the book, I realized like, oh, books are nice, actually. So since then, I've been reading fiction. Like I like stories. But then this year and last year, I noticed I switched to like a lot of self-help books. I don't know. It's what interests me right now, like self-development.
What made you do that? Is there a trigger? It's like something
switch,
bad happened?
Maybe just growing up.
Part of growing up, right? Adulting 101.
I guess, yeah, you experience heartbreaks, and you experience also like sicknesses. I would say 2 years ago, or I think last year, early last year, I got very sick, like
physically.
Like I wasn't working for 1 month at work, and because I got sick in every organ possible, like to name a few, like like I had gastroenteritis, acid reflux, bronchitis, and then laryngitis, and then Just that's some. And it was
You don't get sick
more
often, but
like,
when you do,
but when
bam.
I do, tapos na ako for the year.
Kota ka
Anyway,
na.
yeah, quota na. And I was like, there's gotta be something more to this. Like, why is this happening? And then I start to realize I think it's related to energies. I think it's related to the way we handle and take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Because like, of course, when you're younger, like boom, 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 everything. I want to do this, 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 and then you're still capable because you're young and able. And well, I guess as you grow older, you realize that energy has a limit. You need to charge yourself. You need to yeah, it's just shifted when I got really sick because I had to question why is this happening, and then I asked, what's the purpose for all these? Like, why do people meditate? Why do people do yoga?
Mhm.
And
Is there any particular book that you can share?
um, yeah, actually, my dad shared it to me. He was like, I think you will like this, or I think you'll. He didn't say need, but he said, I think you should. Anyway, it's called The Anatomy of Loneliness by Teal Swan. It's a lot of inner work. The reason why we feel like this inner tension within us. She explains the different selves and how once we have like
I got
a
that. Different
good
selves.
flow. Yeah, we do have different selves
Yeah.
within us, and once we have a good flow and our inner selves are not conflicting, like they can live with each other,
Mhm.
then you can reflect that into your daily activities, and beyond
It
that,
manifests outside
it
of your
manifests
mind.
outside. So like if your mind inside is bright, it can show in your eyes.
Yeah.
cheesy as cheesy as it sounds, but I would say that book helped me
Yeah.
in terms of just looking inward and like the reason why do I feel this, like I am surrounded by a lot of people, but do I still feel lonely inside?
Anatomy of loneliness, right?
You know, and oh, it sounds so sad. Anatomy of
Go ahead. Go
loneliness.
ahead.
And then also this other book I read in college because I had to. It's called
As
the
a
seven
homework.
habits of highly effective people.
7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey.
I forgot, but
Yeah.
I remember it was really good. And then that's when I got interested, I guess, in self
Kumbaga
development.
exposed ka na, hindi siya something na ayaw mo, ganon, or hindi mo alam, then you just discovered because you got sick. It's not something like that. You are already familiar. There's something called a self-help book or a
Yeah,
self-development book.
actually, before I got sick, I was like, what's the purpose of all these? Why are
Mm.
people reading self help books? Why are people meditating? Why are people like? I look at like crystals, and I just look at people who have, and I'm wondering
What's
like, why? What do
what's
you need it
your
for?
ano yung in a way kung magdi-discriminate ka, ano yung pinagdi-discriminate mo sa mga taong nagbabasa ng mga ganon? Dati, nung hindi ka pa exposed or hindi ka pa
More like I'm wondering why you need it.
Mm.
Because maybe I
Just
didn't
curious.
understand.
Curiosity lang.
Yeah, curious. I'm wondering why you need it, and why would you not read something funny instead? That book
Yeah.
sounds so serious.
Like
But
like
then, like,
like if I see you holding the book Anatomy of Loneliness, and then I walked around and I see you like, oh, she's lonely.
yeah, yes, like,
Something like that, right? You have a
and,
prejudgment.
and then I think my
Yeah.
inner selves are not friends right
Aligned.
now. Like, no one, I don't really.
Because if you have to explain yourself, right? Oh, why are you reading that book? And then you have to explain yourself.
Yeah, so
Right?
I made it a point to only just read it at home because I realized I don't have
It
to
really is for
explain.
you. It's
It's
something
for
like
me.
that.
I don't have to explain it to everyone. And then, yeah,
Would you say you can read 52 books in a year?
no.
I do. I actually do more.
Wow,
Yeah. So yung
that's impressive.
the reason why I have I did this as a podcast, not a YouTube channel, because it's my hack. It's my reading hack. I have an Audible, like
Me too.
audiobook, and
I like
sometimes I read.
Audible.
I still buy the book, the physical book, because I love the smell of the paper. So I buy the book and I still buy the audiobook.
And
And
you
when
read it
I
together?
read it, I go faster, because I read it. I do it times two. The speed of the audiobook, I do it times two. So when I open up the book, the physical book, my eyes goes faster, because
Like,
I am actually reading it without me reading it. Right?
mm-mm.
So I listen to that person reading for me, and then I just follow around I follow the letters on the audio on the physical book. So
Yeah,
it makes me read faster.
I see.
I finished the Dan Brown book,
I like Dan Brown.
going to Philippines, and then going back to Hong Kong again. So the first half I did, and going back to Philippines, and then going back to Hong Kong, I finished it. It's
I
like that.
like
So I didn't read in
mhm.
between. I only
I
read it
see
on the
on the
flight.
plane.
Uh,
Okay.
so,
I like Dan Brown books. And I also have an Audible account.
so
Yeah.
the reason why I went with audiobook, kasi if it's YouTube, di ba? When you go out of YouTube, hindi yun na magpa-play. But for an audiobook, it still plays. Right? You can with a podcast,
Yes.
it still plays. So you can
Yeah.
drive,
Yeah.
you can
I like
do the
that you can
cycling,
multitask
you can jog with a
because
book.
yeah.
You're listening to a book. In this case, I want to encourage everybody to listen to the podcast. Some of my podcasts are 1 hour and a half, and listen to other people's podcasts also while you are exercising, right? You can learn from Anna Del Prado and her big ideas kapag habang nag-workout kayo, and then you can just listen to the nuggets of wisdom that she is imparting right now. O, di ba? Plugging pa. No.
Thank you. Yeah,
So,
I like
go ahead.
to back to the audiobook. I like to clean a lot. So while I'm cleaning or washing dishes, like I play it.
You listen to the
So
audiobook,
I
right?
feel even
What's
more
the last
productive.
book that you read, or what is the book that you're listening right now?
It's called. I just finished it 2 days ago.
Mm.
It's called Untamed by Glennon Doyle.
Wow.
So it's
Ang deep.
also
Ang
women
deep.
empowerment. No, but she talks about how she found her inner strength and true power. It's nice.
For me, it's I don't know if I'm the right, but I didn't check the title again. Die to Zero. Yun yung ano niya. But the point is, yung kinukuha mong pera, maximize mo. Parang gano'n. Di ba sabi nila, don't buy things, buy experiences. Something to that effect. Yeah. Hindi mo malalagay yung pera mo sa grave. So use it.
I see. Okay.
Buy experiences. So the point is, you accumulate wealth, but in your lifetime, you make it zero. Zero bank account. Right? Mahirap yun sa mga tao mayaman. Diba? Mahirap yun sa mga tao mayaman. You make it zero because you bought experiences. Diba?
I think experiences is an investment.
Mm-hmm. Right?
One of the best investments you can do to yourself.
Yeah, I heard someone say, instead of going to college, right, go have a Euro trip.
Yeah,
it's the same experience. Unless yun yung mga doctor, mga attorney, ganyan.
Yeah. I think it's good if you don't know what you don't. If you don't know what you want.
If you don't know what you want yet, so for parents, don't force your kids to have a course that they don't like. That's what happened to me. But I didn't.
What course did you take?
Business administration. But the funny thing is, I'm doing business right now, so it went back. Went back. But if you asked me what I learned in college in UST, I'm nothing. I learned how to dance. Magaling ako sa mayaw.
Wow. Okay. Then it was not.
Yes.
It was.
What if you didn't go to college and you danced?
Me?
No, what I'm saying is, what if I didn't just go to college and then just danced, right? What if my parents supported me? I gusto ko sumayaw eh. Okay, go ahead. I didn't tayo magsasayang ng tuition fee mo. Go ahead and dance. Go to CCP.
But what if the result won't be the same?
Yeah, I know. We can't
look
look
drive?
Back. We can't look back. What I'm saying is, support your kids. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Go with what they love to do. Actually,
Yeah.
discover that. Be the support system, as Anna says,
Yes.
to the dreams of your kids. Kasi
Like,
nung bata ka, ganun din naman yung ginawa mo.
do you know that saying? So like kids are like butterflies. Don't clip their wings. Just guide their path.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm not yet a mom.
Sometimes kasi yung regret ng parents, ipinapasa sa mga anak
Yep.
nila. So, it's like, well, based on your example also, di ba? Pain
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
ng father mo yung gusto niya mag-theater.
And my
So,
dad
and he saw
wanted
it
to
in
be
you.
a theater actor. And my mom, she did ballet before, and she used to teach the jazz. So I think when I made the career shift,
She was happy.
they were like, they're a bit nervous. They're like, really, you're gonna do that? But when they first saw my play, my first play, they were like, yeah, okay, do it.
Got it.
Yeah.
You got it. Parang ganun,
That's
diba?
where I felt to prove. I really had to prove. Like, I'm not ready to go back to Dumaguete yet.
Yung, I want to relate it to the being an entrepreneur. Kasi when I say that line sometimes, because I do financial education before, just a little background. I started in 2015. I did financial education. I invite people to my house every Friday, and then it blossomed to I go to the Philippine consulate, the OWA, and then they ask me to share my stories there, and then have a session with financial education, just sharing stories. The stories and the lessons in my stories I share to them, and then they learn, right? So some basic stuff. Because but then when I tell the story about going into entrepreneurship, it's like there's a backlash. Like, huh? Ang hirap niyan eh. Diba? Yung laging may ganon. Laging
Of course.
kontra ka agad. I mean, it's a no
No
unless
matter
it
what
becomes
you do.
a yes. Right? It's a no unless it becomes a yes. So whenever I say this line or the message of this podcast, I've been saying this for years now, is I just want this solid statement that the fastest way to come home for good ng hindi ka nagmamadali is to actually start a business, right? And very solid na yan sa message na gusto kong i-impart sa mga tao. Ang binalaging sinasabi sa akin, but it's hard. Right? Hindi lahat ng tao entrepreneur. But then for me, all the OFWs are entrepreneurs. You know why?
Of themselves.
Yeah, you can say that. One part of it is that. But all the sacrifices that an entrepreneur needs, the OFW already did. You have to, you want to go to the other country, right? So you learn. You go to auditions, you go to whatever, interviews, diba? And you learn the very, very, very risky. Kasi pumunta sa ibang bansa. Alam mo na masisira yung mga pamilya, yung mga ganon, di ba? Alam mo yung mga stories na ganyan. Alam natin yan. Yet, why do you do it? Why did you still go through it? Right? Because it's hard. I know. But you still did it. You know why? You know the difference? Because it's already a yes. Like, the success story that we see in the movies, in the TV, and maybe kapitbahay mo, na kapag OFW ka, mayaman ka na. Right? So their thinking is it's already a yes. It's already a win. And then when you go through with it, maybe it becomes a no. But when you go through entrepreneurship, it's already a no. Like, you will fail. Unless it's a yes when you go through with it. So, yun yung kabaliktaran para sa akin. Kasi nakita na naman tao, ay, alam ko, pag maging OFW ka, makabig ang bahay. Alam ko. For sure. Alam mo baka na maraming for sure? Bakit? Nangutang na eh. Nangutang na ng pambayad ng down payment ng bahay before pa siya umalis. Ito nakakatawa. Pinautang din. Meaning, yung tao na may-ari ng bahay na binenta niyo sa tao mag-OFW, hindi pa umaalis ha. Parang, gusto ko sanang bilhin yung ano mo eh. Yung bahay na to eh. Uutang sana ako sa'yo kasi aalis na ako next month. Right? Basta kayo yung collateral niya, yung aalis na ako next month. So it means, I believe it's a yes.
Sure na.
And they believe it's a yes. Sure na.
Yeah.
And everybody else around your family says, sure na. So pag umutang ka kasi aalis ka next month, more often than not, it's magpapautang sila. Kasi it's sure na. Right? But, for me, it's riskier. Riskier for me. Kasi nawala ka sa pamilya mo eh. So let's go to entrepreneurship. Right? Let's go to the entrepreneurship side. You don't know how it works. So go ahead and learn it. Right?
Yeah.
Kung anong ginawa mo sa maging OFW mo,
Yeah.
gawin mo lang din doon. Right? But not everybody will support. Why? Because it's not yet sure.
Yeah, there's a chance.
But
It's a chance. It's a gamble.
It's a gamble. But being an OFW is a gamble.
Mm-hmm.
So you already have it. That's why it's the OFW. I'm not saying everybody has to be an entrepreneur. I'm saying OFWs are entrepreneurs already. All the characteristics that an entrepreneur needs, the OFW already has.
That's done.
It's already there. That's why the message, if you want to go home nang hindi ka nagmamadali, that's why the reason why I say hindi ka nagmamadali, because it's hard. Been there, done that. It's hard. You know, you're doing it. Right? Now, I want to transition sa bakit naman mayroong baker version ni Anna. Doon ba nung na-discover mo yung sabok? Nagkaroon, yung nag-blossom din yung side of Anna na inaral niya. What made you become that backstage baker? So, go ahead. When you introduce yourself with your 2-minute origin story, I want to reintroduce yourself as the backstage baker as well.
First of all, it started from the love of baking or the love of eating. I made cookies.
Chicken and egg.
I made cookies at home because I wanted to eat it. So it started that way. And then it started with when I got in my first year of doing theater, I would bake stuff at home and then I'd bring the extra to rehearsals.
You share it, right?
And then people were like, "This is good. Can I order?" I was like, "I don't know. These are for free." And then then someone just said like, "What if I want 2 boxes of this?" And so I was like, "Okay." So I got home. I did my costing really quick, and then I just found boxes, and I just here. And then it became a weekly thing. Like someone would order a box, someone would order a box, and then people were like, "You should start selling." And I was like, "Okay." And then it became like, every week I had 1 or 2 boxes. So I was like, "Okay."
And you're not even selling it, something like that, right? Imagine if you're selling it.
Yeah, like it was just more like during rehearsals, like if I baked that day, if I had a free time. And then there was this couple in that cast. They were like, "We have a baby shower and we want you to do the treats for that shower." I was like, "No, you believe in me?" And they're like, "Yeah, we love your cookies." And then so I just like, okay, I was so excited to do it. So I really wanted to show all my guns. So I made chocolate chip cookies, I made brownies, I made French macarons, and then that's their packaging that they gave away, like 3 colors French macarons. And then I made cupcakes with each decorated. And then people at the baby shower were like,
so good.
Who catered this? And then they just went, "Anna." And I was like, "Yeah, I did all of that." And then they're like, "What?" And then they were like, "Okay, you should start selling." And then I said, "Actually, I want to. And then, to be honest, I wanted to sell. I think there was some sort of guilt in me because, I had a culinary background and then I'm suddenly shifting to this. Like I really had a lot of guilt at the time of transition. Like, because I even heard like a professor tell me like, "Oh, you went to school for nothing." I've had comments like that. And then all my classmates would be like, "Oh, where are you working at?" And they'd be like, "Oh, I'm working in Peninsula Hotel. I'm working in this restaurant." And I'm, "Oh, Anna, where are you working?" And I'm like, "I'm doing theater." They're like, "Huh?"
Wait,
They're like,
what?
pala. You're singing. And then I was like, yeah, I just want to try. I'll just do it for a year. Then I'll go to Resorts World Hotel or something. And then, so I had that kind of guilt in me. I was like, I kind of want to continue what I learned. I was like, I didn't go to school for nothing. It's not nothing. I'm sure it's more to this. So I think that was like the inner drive. Like maybe I wanted to prove that just because I shifted doesn't mean I forgot that.
So it's a love
Doesn't
of
mean
it. It's a guilt of studying it, something like that.
yeah, as a hobby. I realized I like it as a hobby, but not really as a job because like it was really taxing when it was like because the job is like 6 days a week working in a restaurant, 6 days a week, and then 9 a.m. to midnight, like every day. I got really tired.
Oh, so you
And then
tried it? You had a job
intern.
like an intern?
Mhm.
Yeah, you interned some.
Like in a French restaurant and then an Italian restaurant.
Mm.
So it was very tiring. But like, of course, I loved
But
it.
it's a good experience.
Mhm.
At least
At least
you
I
did
got
that.
to taste,
Yeah.
pun intended. I got to taste how it felt like. And then I noticed when I'm cutting vegetables and stuff, I'm like, I want to sing. Yeah. But I took lessons on the side. Anyway, back to that baby shower. Um, I in that baby shower, they were like, I know you should start selling. And I was like, yeah, actually, I want to sell, but I don't know what should I be called? I don't know what's my brand. I don't have a brand or a logo, whatever. And then in that baby shower, like there was a script writer. Um, he's very good in like librettos and scripts, and he just took this tissue paper and he started writing. Okay, what should Anna's name be? So he started writing things, and then the baby shower also at one point it just turned into this brainstorming session for what's my name gonna be, and people were just throwing things like,
Those
okay,
are supportive friends.
yeah, like it was Anna about like okay, type put in there singing, baking, and so at one point it was like
I'm
the
curious
singing
of what the
baker,
first iteration of the name would
yeah,
be.
like the singing baker, things like that,
Something like
or
that.
like
Okay, singing baker.
the pastry, something like I don't remember,
Mhm.
and then suddenly that the script writer he just kept writing different names, then he was matching, and he just said, "How about the backstage baker?" And everyone was like, and
You'd know.
like as if when
Ding.
dogs' ears just go like
Light bulb fell.
yeah, light bulb, and then I was like, I like that. Can I
Yeah,
use it?
that's good.
And then he said, please use it as long as you keep selling. I was like, okay, I will. And then I got so excited. I was like, this is my name. And then my best friend from high school, she's a graphic designer. And then so I was like, her name is Anna as well. I was like, Anna, can you please? And I know she's good, and I know she can see my style and translate it. So I was like, Anna, can you make me a logo? I'm gonna start selling cookies. And then like at first I was like, I wanted to be like a
So the
cupcake.
specialty is cookie, because that's what you said. I want to sell cookies.
Yeah, yes, cookies. It was just cookies in the beginning. Like I was telling her, or cupcakes. I was telling her I wanted to be like a cupcake with a spotlight on a stage. Like that's the logo. Or like the other logo can be like a cookie but peeping from a curtain, but make sure it looks like a
Because
theater
backstage,
stage. Yeah, like because backstage, and then so she
that's
gave me so
fun.
many
It
samples.
must have been fun for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this was the year 2015, and then so I was just like maybe 1 year into theater, and then um yeah, and then so I was like brainstorming with my best friend a lot. It's like, no, I want this logo, I want these colors, like these are my favorite colors with the wood color, and I want this font. And then yeah, it happened. And then I had stickers printed. I hand cut each one by myself, like during rehearsals. It's not yet my turn, I just cut it, and then someone
It
wants to buy
literally
cookies.
is a backstage baker.
Yeah, and then yeah, because backstage I was cooking for the people, baking for the people, and then that became my market, like rehearsal peeps, like peeps, like they would like, oh Anna, can I order for myself? I just want cookies. And then oh Anna, it's actually my niece's birthday. Can you make
Yeah.
6 pink cupcakes. Like, yeah, sure. So it became like a word of mouth throughout the whole cast. So it became this thing that literally backstage. So that's why I like the ring to it. And then
you made it like a formal business already.
then I got an Instagram account for it. And then there it just and then I just didn't stop because like I enjoyed baking and I enjoyed the good feedback. And then I told them, if you have anything negative to say, I also want to know.
Yeah.
And then I received those as well as I could. Like, okay, thank you for telling me. Actually, I want to know. I want to know. So I was very open to that, to any kind of
Yeah,
feedback.
that's good.
And then my sister, who's a photographer, I was like, can you help me with taking pictures of my food? So we had, we,
You
I
know, you're
had this
lighting up
idea.
when you're telling this story right now. You're lighting up. That's good.
Thank
Which is good. You
you.
know, you're having fun telling that story. I just want to tell you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now I'm conscious. But anyway, so my sister.
Nasira ako.
So my sister helped me with my Instagram page and my photography. Then I kind of learned from that, so I started doing it by myself, and then it just kind of expanded. Like then I got questions, I got orders already from people I didn't know.
Yeah. I was
Online,
about to ask you
Instagram.
that. Why did you say that it's like a business? Because if it's only your friends or your immediate group of co-workers, right? It really isn't something you would say it can expand, right? But when did you experience na oh hindi na to? I don't know that person, right?
Like
They trust you to make the cookies for them.
it got, I would receive. So I just used Instagram only.
Mm.
Excuse me. And I got orders from General Santos City, from Mindanao, Davao, and then of course Visayas, Dumaguete,
Mhm.
and Cebu, and Leyte, and then around Manila,
So,
Rizal.
syempre, big orders yun. Hindi mo mag-order yun ng isang box tas sa Leyte. Di ba?
Yeah, or
So,
they would, yeah. And then so I was like, okay, then that's when I registered my business and I reserved the logo, DTI permit, everything. And then I was like, okay, this is it. And then that's just what I kept doing. And then until more strangers asked me, or even friends or family, like, and I need a cake. Do you do cakes? I was like, no, but yeah, sure.
try that.
Yeah, you know,
You know,
I didn't
the
want to
yes
say
man, right?
no, but
Yeah.
it's like, when there's some things
You
you
know
want to
you're
say yes
capable. You're
to
just not used to it yet.
because I haven't even tried.
Mm.
So I tried, and um, my first cake, I'm trying to remember it. It would like I delivered it, and it was like really leaning. I was like, I'm sorry. So then I learned you better level your cake so it's just straight. So then I got more cake orders, and then to a point that I started supplying for a coffee shop near my house. So
Near your house in Manila or Dumaguete?
Manila.
Manila.
So like I would just supply them cupcakes. And then that's when I also realized that my quality would get lower the more I produced.
Yeah.
So yeah, like in the beginning of supplying for the coffee shop, um, yeah, maybe 12 cupcakes per week were okay. Then suddenly they were like, oh, we need 24 per week. And this is on top of my orders online and on top of my rehearsals.
Yeah.
So like, and I just said yes. When you're
I want
younger,
to say yes.
yes, yes,
Yeah. Your
yes.
energy's high.
And then, but then I realized the consequence of saying yes to everything.
Yep.
And like my quality became low. And I really saw it and I really felt it. It was heartbreaking, but I wanted to deliver. But it's like this weird mix of like, but do I want to deliver a product I'm happy with? And I did. And then then the response became lower until we we both of us decided like
Stop the supply.
let's not continue it. And I said I agree. Yeah. And then that's when I got the offer to move here. And then when I
Maybe
moved
that's why
here,
it's a sign.
yeah. And then when I moved here, it took me the first year I wasn't baking. I don't know why I didn't have it in me yet.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not exposed to it. You're backstage, but the backstage baker isn't baking. What happened here?
I think I was adjusting to life here. It's very different. And then
Yeah, that's what I
I
want to know. I want to know what's the adjustment. Why did it take? If you really love to
two
do
years.
that, right? Why is what happened? I am curious about that because all the audience right now, OFWs, might be in the same situation right now or had that situation. How are you able to cope with it, and how are you able to give smiles with your cupcakes or with your cookies again when you finally decided to do so?
Honestly, it took me 2 years to like feel it again. And I know it sounds long. Like, so when I got in here, of course, my attention was like, wow, Disneyland, and like
Or
getting used to life, getting used to just a new
lifestyle, yeah,
a
different
new
lifestyle.
lifestyle and routine. And a lot of our hours go to work. So,
Mhm.
and then when you're not working, you want to rest or you
Mhm.
want to explore Hong Kong. So,
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time just doing that. I just wanted to focus. So, my focus kind of shifted,
Yeah.
honestly. So, it focused more on like, I want to be a better performer. I want to do my job well. I also
Mhm.
want to be a good Hong Kong resident. So, like, then the baking, then people at work were like, di ba baker ka? And then I was like, sige na nga, bake. And then it was like more like that. Like, um,
It isn't
yeah,
related
sure.
that you don't like the baking anymore. It's just that you are focusing on your job right
It
now.
was, yeah, a shift
Yeah,
in
something like that.
focus.
Yeah.
But even if I had the free time, like, I wasn't in the mood.
Mm.
And I noticed when I'm not in the mood, it
It
doesn't
wouldn't be
taste good.
delicious. Yeah. My wife cooks and bakes also, so
I love
I
her
know.
banana cake with chocolate chips.
Actually, pinasa yung recipe na yon sa sister-in-law ko. So
Wow.
she made her own version. So syempre natitingnan ko pareho. So I know the difference. Alam mo yun,
Mm,
like, iba yung kanya, iba yung kanya. Ganun. Of course, you will have your own touch on it, di ba? So, alam ko na kapag ka nahangiti yung asawa ko habang nagluluto or kumakanta siya, okay,
nagiging
trying to
masarap.
sing ha, sumasarap yung pagkain. So kapag ka
Mm,
nakikita ko yun, masarap yung pagkain mamaya. Yung gano'n, na-anticipate ko na ng gano'n.
yeah.
So, tsaka meron na kami usapan na kapag ka nagluluto ako, wag mo akong inisin or wag mo akong munang kausapin masyado dahil nagluluto ako kung ayaw mong hindi sumarap ng pagkain na to. Right? Can you relate to that? Ano?
Definitely. I can relate to it, I think, in almost everything I do. I mean,
Mm.
maybe more cooking, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
it can be related to like performing.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think as a performer, we've learned to perform even if we don't
Yeah.
feel like it.
Yep.
You can still do your job, but then like cooking, I think it's related to emotions.
Yes.
And then
What you put in your into the food is actually your
really,
emotions. Yeah.
yeah, and
You're invested in it really.
yeah, and I'm in the mood like I want to make it really good. But in my first 2 years in Hong Kong, like I think it's also because I didn't buy an oven. We
Mm.
only had a microwave oven in my first house,
Mm.
and like I wasn't sure also how long I was gonna stay here. So like, and I didn't have enough baking stuff. So like, I had also limited resources, and then plus the lack of the drive to
Mm.
like do it. Like if I bake, it's only because like someone asked me to, and then buti na lang masarap. And
Are you
then
consistently baking now? I'm
now I
curious.
am.
That's good. That's
And then
good.
so after the 2 years, and even after that thing of when I got sick, I started to realize that I stopped doing the things I love, and which includes baking.
Mm.
And so like when I moved to my new house near the beach, I got a really nice oven, and then
Kasama
I
sa itinerary mo yun, right? Parang, oh, yeah, I should have this. New
yes,
place, new
like
landscape, new
yeah.
oven.
After I got very sick, like that's when I was like, I need to think of
Is there a reason for that
taking
sickness?
care of me.
Is it like your body telling you to change something? Is it an emotional thing that manifested to your physical?
I think
I'm just curious. If you
yeah.
don't want to answer that, I'm good.
Generally, I think our body, but our
Talks to
body
you.
is nature, and then it's natural. It doesn't lie. So listen to it. I'm still learning to listen to it.
Yeah.
And if it says something, it really means something. So like
Yeah.
maybe you're not happy there, or like, yeah. So
That's a very good nugget of information. That's wisdom. That's adulting 102.
yeah,
Already.
like it's just growing up.
Yeah, it's just part of you
I'm
know
still
you
learning.
might say that that part that line you said I've learned, and then you changed it and you said I'm still learning.
Yeah.
That's very important for me. That's very important. First, it's self-awareness
Mhm.
that there's nothing learning won't stop. Learning won't stop, and then you pivot, meaning you're not afraid to change your mind. You said learn, but you said you pivoted and you said learning, right?
I think if you say
From
learned, then you close the door. You
yes,
don't
it's
know
already
what else.
finished.
What if the
It's
door
already
still
finished.
has
You don't
stuff
have to do
coming out?
anything. Right? People whenever I don't know why, para akong kuya lagi ng lahat ng tao pag nagtatanong sa akin yung mga tao. But I always have, we have 4 keys, right? Safety, courtesy, show, efficiency, right? So may level siya. I have something like that. I have something like that, my foundation. Na it's people first. People first. I have a hierarchy. I made a hierarchy. It's first. It's given si Lord, right? Number one, si Lord. And then after, then it's all people first. The first 5 people, your first 5. If I ask your first 5, I know you'd answer. You'd answer. You know your first 5. And then there's second. And then there's third, fourth, fifth, etc. etc. But it's all people, right? Para sa akin, it's all about that. Meaning, what you have to do or the decisions that you're doing is for the people. Parang ano ako doon Huli ko sarili ko pala akong kandidato nun.
Yeah, yeah.
No. Let me rephrase that. Life is not about being balanced. Di ba sabi nila, work-life balance, ganyan. Life is not about balance. It's all about, it's because it's a balancing act.
Mm-mm.
You don't find, you will not find balance. So if you already know, you're aware that you won't find balance, it means you will constantly move. You go left because it's not balanced yet, right? You go right because it's not balanced yet, right? Because if you're in the middle, it means it's balanced already.
Also, if you don't move, that you're rock.
If you don't move, you're dead, right? That's the definition of mediocrity. And there's a YouTube page that started it all. I mean, not really started it all. It's one of my few motivations until now. It's called Fight Mediocrity. You have to check that page. I'll put that on the comments below, on the description below. Fight mediocrity. And baga nag-umpisa siya sa financials, but the thing is, he has a book list, a top 10 book. He's trying to uh, uh, impart sa mga tao kung gusto niyo mabasa ng mga libro. May link din siya sa Audible. I think that's the reason why I had the Audible. He's the reason why. Kasi nakita ko yung kanyang reading hack, which is what my hack is right now. So hindi akin yun, kinopya ko sa kanya. That the channel is Fight Mediocrity. Life is in the edges. If you live in the middle, that's mediocrity. My version of that is life. You don't find balance in life because life is a balancing act. If you're in the middle, you're actually dead. Right? So being safe is very risky. That's why I'd like to invite everyone to be entrepreneurs. And if you're a solopreneur, what I mean a solopreneur is mga doctor, mga professionals, mga lawyers, ganyan, na they're practicing on their own, parang ganon, like you, the backstage baker. Ganyan. I encourage everyone to do so. And if you lack the confidence, listen to this podcast. If you don't know how to start, listen to this podcast. They are all sharing it. And the one thing I've learned is to ask. Sometimes pag may makita kang successful tao or kilala mong successful na tao, there's a way to ask that person. Okay? Like yung sabi mong artista, right? There's a way to ask that person. Right? Yung ibang tao sabihin nila, Ayoko kasi busy yan eh. Sikat na yan eh. Laki-laki na yan eh. Pag ako tinanong yan, baka pagtaboyan lang ako niyan eh. Di ba? For whatever reason, meron tayong ganong mindset. Meron ganong tayong thinking. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you ask. When you asked, that person answered in detail and you have to take notes. And you had to take notes. And they follow up on you. They were like, what happened to whatever you want to do? What happened to that? Like, parang, siya na ngayon nagpa-follow up. Right? Because, you know why? They have their pain points. They have their pain points. At yung pain points nila, gusto nilang i-impart sa audience kasi ayaw nila na ma-experience mo din yung nangyari sa kanila nung nag-uumpisa sila. Like, they want to share that story. They want to share that experience. They want to share the lessons of those mistakes, those iba-ibang klaseng version, right? That's why I ask OFWpreneurs themselves, right? Ang nangyayari kasi, meron akong ang nangyayari kapag nagkakaroon ako ng seminars, dun sa financial education seminars na ginagawa ko before. I always ask yung mga tao sa Pilipinas. And then, ini-invite ko sila sa Hong Kong. And then they go here. And then they do the seminars. Parang resource person ko. Wala akong pambayad sa kanila. They say yes. Just me asking sa Facebook. And they said yes. But the thing is, pag nandito na sila, parang merong detachment. In a way, hindi lahat pero may detachment. Kasi, entrepreneurs sila sa Pilipinas. Pero hindi sila OFW. So parang, hindi mo ako naiintindihan. Yung audience parang hindi mo ako naiintindihan. Hindi ka man OFW eh. Right? I know you're successful, you're an entrepreneur, but hindi ka man OFW, you don't know my pain. Diba? So I started with, so when I heard that, parang oo nga no. Bakit yung hindi OFW, yung kumakausap sa mga OFW, na mag-invest ka or humawak ng pera? Which ang answer nila is, hindi mo naiintindihan yung nangyayari sa akin eh. Alam mo bang marami akong ganitong utang, ganyan, mga gano'n, di ba? Siyempre, mga drama sa buhay.
Yes.
So, ako naman, isip ko, why don't I just share my story? So, I shared my story. And then I discovered at the end of my financial education, I always say this. So, sa mga tao na nakikinig lagi dito, I always say this. The end of my financial education is actually starting a business. And at that time, wala akong business. So, I started one. And then, meron na akong conviction magsalita.
Based from
hanggang
experience.
Ngayon, based on experience, ng mga pain points mo na pag-umpisa mo. Right? Kasi yun yung pinakamahirap. Now, marami yung mga myth. Alam mo yung mythbusters, right? Mga myth na akala mo, gano'n. Mag-ask ka, wag kasi baka hindi niya ako sagutin. But then you ask, they answer. So, one myth busted, right? All you have to do is ask. Is there any myths that you've learned as a performer, as a baker, whatever it is that you're into, na would you say na a myth was busted? A certain belief na hindi naman pala? Di ba ganun?
As cheesy as it sounds, like it's impossible.
Really? Someone told you, or in your mind, or someone told you about it?
Just the basic doubts of people. When I heard that, that's too hard. Don't do that, or like, don't go that direction. Like, are you sure? I think the general myth that was busted is like is that it's not impossible. It's possible as long as you put your effort into it.
Ang naisip ko dyan ito. Would you believe na yung phone ngayon ay touchscreen?
Years ago, no.
Would you believe na nag-uusap tayo ngayon?
Exactly.
Right? face to face, not really face to camera, but face to face, di ba?
Yeah.
Yung movie Sylvester Stallone, I forgot, Judge Dredd, something like that. Na nag-uusap sila sa telepono, and then yung telepono may face sila, nag-uusap sila doon. Tapos nasa bahay, ganun din, nag-uusap sila ng yung face na sa screen. It's happening right now. So nothing really is impossible. I just have to set foot on it.
Yeah.
Just show up. No? Hindi ka...
Do your part.
Yes. No
If
matter
you're a
how small it
dishwasher,
is.
wash those dishes.
If you're a cleaner outside, be the best cleaner outside.
Or like if in a musical, you were just like a puppet, then be the best puppet. There's no small actors, there's no small roles, only small actors.
I think you're blessed with many influences. What I'm saying, influencers. Your father influenced you to go to a path that you won't regret. You have a support system. Yeah, I think that's what we need, a support system. And if you don't have a support system, you can actually find it online, right? So, sabi kasi nila, it's
or friends.
Yeah, or friends, yeah.
For people who don't have families.
Yeah. Kasi may alam yun, yung sometimes it's just reason na wag na lang gawin eh, right? I had a quote, not had. I thought of a quote that best describes people that are not doing the action. For me, it's inaction is far worse than failure.
Mm-mm.
Right?
That's
Took action, you
regret.
failed, right? But inaction is far worse than failure. So wag nating gawing dahilan na baka kasi magkamali ako eh.
Yeah.
So wag na lang. Pag naririnig ko yun, lalo sa mga alam mo, mga mas nakakatanda sa atin, wag mo lang gawin yun, magkakamali ka naman eh. Wag na lang. Di ba? Just imagine if you live with that principle. Right? Hindi ka na maghahanap ng boyfriend kasi baka masaktan ka lang. Right?
Yeah.
Mga ganun, for anything.
Pero what if hindi ka masaktan? What if?
Yeah. And then at the end of your life, or a chapter of your life, right? Sasabihin mo, sasabihin sa'yo ng apo mo, so, Lolo, what is it that you regret in your life? And then the answer would be, I regret not doing this and that.
Things I didn't do.
Things you didn't do.
Yes.
And go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't want to grow old having regrets.
Right? So would you say that you did everything you wanted to do?
No.
Not yet.
I don't want to say that because I don't want to say things
it's
that will like stop me from growing already.
But are you happy? It's like it's a fairly simple question.
It is.
But very hard to answer.
Yeah, I've been pondering a lot about that. And I think I am. And I just overcomplicate my own things. My own self.
Your own self.
I think we all have everything we need.
Yeah. We all have everything we need. All we have to do is act on it.
Yeah.
Right. And the only thing that that suppresses us is us. So if you know yourself, you're self-aware, you know your capacity, you have accepted yourself. Second part yun ha, self-awareness and then self-acceptance. You've accepted yourself na, ito yung capacity ko. And then you do it.
Yeah, because the mind is that strong. You are your own worst enemy.
May mga ganyan na, yung mga ganyang lines, nasasabi ng mga taong okay na sila. Okay na sila. They're in a situation right now, like me, in a situation right now, that they're okay. They're good. Right? But it's hard, it's a very hard statement to say, or statement to pull off. parang artista na mapapaniwalaan mo if they're not okay. But I want to tell the audience right now, especially right now sa nangyayari sa mundo ngayon. Diba? na it's okay to not be okay.
Definitely.
Now, this too shall pass, and everything's going to be all right. That's part of my nightly prayers, and I always say that to in front of my kids that I'm thankful for today because I know that everything's going to be all right.
I think we put too much pressure on ourselves. Like it has to be okay, it has to be perfect.
Mm.
But that pressure alone, that journey alone, doesn't make you appreciate the things that you've been through or your
That's why,
current,
yeah,
you know.
that's why life is not finding the balance. It's a balancing act.
I think it's being I think it's being happy with what you
Already,
yeah.
right? Now, isa sa mga missions in life ko rin. Say hi, no? Isa sa mga missions in life.
Sorry, I'm using their Wi-Fi.
Yung missions in life ko rin, or isa sa mga messages na gusto kong i-impart din or gawin is to embrace every part. Na-intrigue ako sa sinabi mo kayo na yourself, different selves, di ba? Na sabi nila, focus ka lang sa isa kasi hindi ka makakapag-focus kapag marami kang ibang ginagawa. Sumasabog yung utak ko, ang dami kong ideas. Ang dami kong ideas, parang gusto kong gawin to, gusto kong gawin yan, gusto kong gawin to.
Yeah. Focus.
Why is it that you can't do it? Right? For you. You're a performer, a theater actor, but you're also a baker. Right? Like from me, I run every day, or I ran every day before that. right now. Right? I love to run because that's my solace, that's my meditation. And I love to write, I love to read, I love to talk. I perform. I do websites, I do everything. So ang gusto kong iparating is embrace every part of yourself. Your different selves. Like Anna. She has to introduce herself twice. Anna Del Prado and the backstage baker. She has embraced both, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to focus on one. The energy would be different, right? The energy will be 80% here, 20% there, right? As long as you do it. Hindi yung sinusuppress mo yung sarili mo na, ay, wag to kasi kailangan mag-focus dito eh. Kailangan mag-focus dyan eh. Right now, the pandemic exposes that. Ang dami ngayong gumagawa ng mga bagay na hindi nila ginagawa ngayon dati dahil mayroon sa downtime. Right?
That's
and now
true.
They embrace it.
I think the pandemic is forcing everyone to reflect. Even those that don't reflect at all, look inward.
And to make it on a positive note on the pandemic, this what I'm going to say next is the disclaimer talaga, no? If you take it negatively, it is. If you take it positively, it is.
Yeah.
So, yung pandemic is exposed. It exposed na yung everyone's excuse is kasi wala akong resources eh. Kasi nauna na siya eh. Kaya magiging successful talaga siya kasi 5 taon na niyang ginagawa yan eh. Magiging successful talaga siya kasi 5 years na siya sa business na yan eh. Right? Now, we're all zero. We're all zero. We're starting with zero right now. We are on an even playing field. Now, let's play. All we have to do now is show up, with the words of Anna Del Prado. Let's show up. I will quote you on that. Now, I want to give you the floor to share more about the backstage baker.
More.
Yeah, more about the backstage baker. Go ahead. I want to ask questions on how to order it also.
Oh, I have some pictures here that I could show you of how my business was operating before in Manila. So here is a picture of a setup because I would do bazaars in Manila and I would sell my pastries there. And I know what I like and I know what I want the feeling to be. Like I want it colorful and I want people to go, ooh. So I chose a lot of bright colors. So with my logo and everything, I complemented my pastries with it. And I have different cupcakes and cookies. So at that time it was just cupcakes and cookies. I'm gonna press next.
Pati yung whisk mo rainbow colors.
Yes, and this is just an example. So I would pre-package my cookies as well individually. This is how it was in another bazaar that was just about cookies. And this is my setup. So basically, I would accept orders on Instagram or do pickups in those bazaars, or or sell in the bazaar itself. This was like my first menu, like 4 years ago. I've had white chocolate cranberry cookies, wicked matcha chip cookies. I made it wicked because it's a green chocolate chip cookies, and the musical Wicked, she's green, Elphaba, so wicked. And then s'mores cookie bars. S'mores cookie bars, I honestly, it's the easiest to make, so that's why I still sell it up to this day, and I still sell it now. Every 2 weeks, I have orders, macarons, and then vanilla buttercream cupcakes. This is me before I like to color my hair, and this is just a zoom in on my cupcakes and cookies.
So to order, just Instagram, right?
Yeah, the way it's working now in Hong Kong is that people would just send me a WhatsApp message, or if they see me at work, they're like, "And I'll order," and then I'll just bring it to them. So I'll just collect that list, and then in the soonest possible time that I can make it, I try not to choose a time that will stress me out because I want it to taste good as well.
The backstage
Yes,
baker
yes.
and
So it's basically just about
cakes.
me selling what I want to make. So those are my cakes, and then I also yes, those are the boxes that I sell my s'mores cookie bars in. So I like colorful things. You can tell. I've
And
had orders to make customized, titles.
so they can also order through
Facebook, yes.
Facebook.
I accept Facebook inquiries, messages. So,
The backstage baker as well.
yes, but to be honest, I'm more active on my Instagram.
So if you want to order, DM her, and
Yes,
she'd most probably reply on Instagram.
I will, of course.
Got it. There you go. So I wanna ask also: is there any question that you were expecting but I didn't ask? Just curious.
Actually, everything I didn't expect to, this whole conversation. I was expecting more about how my business works, how it started, and who did my logo, things like that. Like just about Backstage Baker. I didn't think we would talk about my life or some life lessons.
Because being an entrepreneur takes more in life, more in your life, right? It takes one thing na I would say na kapareho din ng pagiging OFW is you're sacrificing time away from your family by leaving, right? Leaving the country. But at the end of the day, you're by yourself.
Yep.
Right? The difference sa pagiging entrepreneur and you're in the Philippines, you would still be, especially at the start, you'd still be busy at work if you're an entrepreneur, right? But when you come home, you're with them. That's the one thing that encouraged me to actually go to entrepreneurship as well, especially sa mga parents, right? Kasi gusto nilang umuwi.
Yeah.
Alam mo yung pahinga nila yung mga anak nila. Pag uwi sa bahay, no
time
talk
is
about
so
business here.
Yeah.
Parang ganun, the table, na ang hapagkainan is all about how are you, mga ganun.
Because time is a currency. I mean,
Yes.
really depends on how we spend it.
Yes, and don't buy things, buy experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Invest in it.
And this is entitled Anna Del Prado. This episode is entitled Anna Del Prado
Wow.
with big ideas. If there's a big idea, what would be your big idea, Anna?
Big idea. Or I would say like a lesson that has never left my mind.
Hmm.
It something I always tell myself, no matter how big or small the task is, um, do something that your future self will always thank you for.
Awesome.
And that works for me up to this day and for so many years. And I can apply it in every single thing I do. As simple as um like doing the laundry.
Hmm.
I will wash my clothes tonight so that tomorrow my future self will be like, I'm grateful to have dry, clean clothes. So as simple as that, it can be as simple as a daily chore. And then even as you can even apply it like, let's say I'm gonna start doing voice lessons now because my future self is gonna be even more confident and knowing that it has had all those weeks of training. I think it can be applied to anything that you do.
Very awesome. It's
Thank
a
you.
it's a life lesson
Mm.
in it. The entirety of what you said is actually a life lesson. Diba? Hindi siya like for me, it's about saving time. Like what you said, time is a currency. So I save time by I bought 14 polo, same color,
Whoa.
same size, same everything. Shorts, I bought like 10 of same everything. So I save time by not thinking of what I'm going to wear the next day.
Mm.
Something like that. I got that from
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg. Always on the gray
Yes,
shirts, Mark
yes,
Zuckerberg,
yes.
right? So, ano. That's why I have the Audible hack. Save time in reading. I want to read. I don't have time. Oops. Actually, you actually have. You just
Yes.
didn't know how to maximize it.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Right. I thank you, Anna, for giving me time. I always believe na the real busy people have time because they schedule it. Yung mga tao nagsasabi, busy kasi ako eh. Hmm,
Or
sometimes
I would like to rephrase that if you don't mind.
go ahead.
They make time.
They make time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's even better. Thank you very much, Anna. I appreciate the time that you've given me. I hope we can still talk about the different things you have in mind, more specific topics in the future.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Sa,
I didn't
sa
expect.
audience natin, mga OFWs all over the world, magandang hapon. Hapon ngayon, right? Magandang hapon, magandang gabi, magandang umaga. Kasama kayo sa buong mundo, magandang araw. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.